So the measurement is that for 3 cups of flour, we're going to use 1 egg. So here I got my eggs, and so this is our flour and our eggs. So here I got some margarine, and I'm using King's cooking margarine. You can use steamers and everything, but I love to buy these small packs because they've measured it out already, so it makes it easy. So this is about 250 grams. So that is, we're using 1000 grams of margarine. Okay, so nutmeg, preferably you go for the dried nutmeg. This is about I think a teaspoon of nutmeg. So this is it. This is pure 100% nutmeg. A tablespoon of salt. Make sure you use a tablespoon that is of a measuring spoon. Don't use a tablespoon you eat with, and then you level it to get the accurate measurements. We have our milk, and we're using powdered milk. Here I got 4 cups of powdered milk. That is about, let me see, does it show? No, doesn't show. 4 cups of powdered milk. I don't know the brand. Any powdered milk would do. So I got sugar, 4 cups of sugar, white granulated sugar. And for the milk, we're also going to be using pig milk. We're using 2 pig milk, the liquid one mixed with the powdered one. It gives it this very creamy consistency. Okay, so here we got our baking powder, and we're going to use 4 um, tablespoons of baking powder.
4 tablespoons.
Yes, and then we have our ground soya oil. Now about your oil, I love to use ground soya. It's a high heating oil. It's fantastic and it's very healthy. Don't use sunflower oil for your chin chin. Don't use olive oil. Don't use avocado oil. Don't use coconut oil to fry your chin chin. Look for a powerful vegetable oil or pure soya oil like this. Okay, so now I got my mixing bowl, and we're going to, and then you're going to need this. You're going to need a roller, a rolling pin, a cutter. All right, family, we start by mixing our wet and dry ingredients together. And in here, I poured out my 2 cans of evaporated milk, pig milk to be precise. If you're Nigerian, yes, we know our pig milk. And then I am going to break my eggs into the milk. So now we want to mix all of this together. so that you don't open it and get everywhere messy. All right, so you just sort of use the tip of your fingers and just press it in on every side, on the four sides. So when you press it in this way, you're going to use a scissors to just cut three quarters of it, and then just leave one side like this, okay? Yes, so now we're going to just do all of that, and then I will show you how to remove that. So when incorporating your margarine, you can use butter, but if you're making commercial in Nigeria, we all know that margarine is the way to go. Commercial or large quantity, come on. You don't want to buy um butter of 2000 naira. Yes, 200 grams of butter for 2000 naira, and use on 32 cups of chin chin. If you get what I mean. So now you want to cut them into cubes. Make sure your margarine is cold. Another tip, okay? You don't use it at room temperature. Put it in the fridge if you're in a very hot climate like ours, and then make sure it's a little bit cold before incorporating it. It makes it easier to work around the flour. So just like you're making meat pie, that's what you want to do. You want to rub it in with your fingers. Like a half a bag, a lot, and then that's what she sort of distributes. When Nigeria was Nigeria, things were good, and we will share it around, and we will have some left over for January, and they were exciting times. Now we're incorporating our wet and dry ingredients together. So, I remember that with so much fun memories. But it was a lot of work. It was a whole family affair. Everybody was involved. But you see, this time around, I only have my sister Emma and Magdalene with me. So it was basically Magdalene holding the camera and Emma and I. See, those are my nails. I don't want to dig them in there. So Emma took over at this point, but at a point we're going to be doing it together. So don't go on a suicide mission making chin chin this quantity by yourself unless the Lord is your strength. Okay? It's a teamwork. Honestly, it is a teamwork. So we're adding a little bit of water, milk. We just sort of I rinsed the bowl where I mixed the milk in it. So because it's very very thick. So now because it's a cakey kind of chin chin, we had to go off camera to really mix this thing well. We needed the space, and our camera woman was taking up so much space. Now divide into two. Yes, now, when we're making so much a large quantity, usually we take it to the bakery back home, and they mix it. It's just that that bakery chin chin is usually so crunchy. It's not as soft and cakey and delicious. Yes, it has a commercial tone to it. So this homemade is always preferable for me. So I am mixing and Emma is mixing. I seem to be doing a better job, but then that's because my own dough is smaller. Okay. So we've done the hard work of mixing, and a quick tip: you can use your mortar and pestle to pound it, like Emma pounded this one to look this smooth. So we basically just oiled it, and we're going to let this rest for about 2, 3, 4 hours, okay, before we come and start frying. So now we're going to go ahead and start
cutting our chin chin. We love to cut and keep it so that frying becomes easy, okay? Oil the trays where you're going to keep the cut chin chin. So you want to take a portion of the dough and we're going to press it in just to smoothen it. Now, I'm not doing anything perfect here. This was supposed to be our Christmas chin chin, but there was really no time to prepare this at Christmas, so we ended up doing it around New Year. Oh, the princess is here again for her share. Okay, so you want to use your rolling pin at this point and stretch it out like you stretch your normal dough. So just try and get an even size. Don't worry about perfection here. If you want it to be absolutely perfect, then make a smaller quantity or take it to where they will mix it for you. Or if you have a giant commercial mixer, fantastic. Now we'll roll and then we're going to so I'm going to transfer this to a chopping board. And I'm going to show you this. There are three ways you could cut. You could cut with a knife, you could use a pizza cutter. So after cutting, at this point you can cut it bigger, you can cut it smaller, because how you cut this one determines the size of your chin chin, whether it's going to be large, small, or everything. So decide what you want. And I'm going to show you just a little bit. This is a bigger cut, and I love this cut. This is like my best. My mom loves the tiny cuts, small pieces. Now, to make it faster, you can also cut your chin chin with the scissors after the first initial cut. Yes, you can cut it this way with the scissors. So you can make it slimmer, you can make it fatter. So we ended up making about three different shapes of chin chin. You can make up to 10 different shapes with all of this. You can make it twisted and it will still be nice, okay? So it's time to fry our chin chin. Now you have to pay attention to the frying part. Let me explain. A lot of people have issues with frying chin chin, and it's simple. If you do not want oil to bubble over your chin chin, the foam to rise, then don't use eggs, or minimize the number of eggs you use for your chin chin. And I will show you a recipe on how you can use minimal eggs and fry your chin chin successfully. But oil and eggs produces that foam almost all the time. So what this is going to take is a lot of patience. Now let me share with you what my mothers do if there is a party or something and we're making bulk chin chin back at home. What I see them do is that they use this giant frying pans, and they fry in different, they usually have like three or four, and they fry it just once, so the oil foams just once, because the issue comes from refrying and refrying. Okay, now if you do not have that, you have to be patient. At a point we'll have to turn it off and then fry it. Like, we fried this in about 12 batches. Yes, it was a lot of work because we're using a small pan. So what you do is you have to be patient, stand by and keep tampering the foam so that it doesn't overrun into your fire. Yes, don't just stand still and let it fry. It's going to have uneven um what do I call it? It's going to have uneven browning, or it's going to have a bit of discoloration, if that makes sense. So you have to keep moving it around, and don't overheat your oil. Make sure you fry on medium high heat, because if you overheat your oil, you end up the chin chin will brown quickly without cooking through, and that is not what you want, and you will have to extract from the heat. Now you can remove it before determine how brown you want it to get. You can leave it a bit lighter because it continues cooking out of the fire. Look at how beautiful this chin chin is looking. Oh my goodness. You can tell that it's going to taste amazing, amazing, amazing. Just look at that. So gorgeous. Now we're going to go ahead and fry our second batch. And sorry, sister, there's no shortcuts. You have to be hands on. You have to be hands on. So you keep tampering the oil by, stirring on top so it doesn't bubble and overflow. I know it's a lot of work, but it's worth it. If you make this quantity, you get to preserve it. You can store it in containers, and your children will snack on it for a while. And homemade is always better. So while the oil is forming, you keep stirring, and you'll be gauging to see when it's done, okay? Oh my goodness, we've successfully fried our second batch of chin chin. Oh, and look at that. So, guys, I did my own frying and I ran away and I left Emma to fry the rest. And she was fantastic. She did the rest of the frying. And of course, they are going to partake of it. She was going to go back to camp to her youth service station with some. So, why not? Let her do the work. All right. That's just, what happens behind the scenes, sister love. So I'm just showing you the oil gets worse as you continue frying. So after this batch, for instance, if you're making a quantity similar to mine, you can turn off the heat and let the oil cool down. Then come back and fry again. Or do what my mothers do. Use a very large pan and know that you're frying once or twice. Okay, this is our Nigerian chin chin. And I think Ghanaians call it actual or something. I don't know. But this is how I grew up. Every Christmas is a tradition, and I thought to share the recipe with you today. And there are two more variations that will be coming up on this channel. So stay tuned. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you never miss a clip. Okay? So look at that. Ooh, delicious chin chin. Yummy, yummy chin chin. Nigerian chin chin. Oh my goodness. I want to eat some right now. Oh my goodness. Nigerian chin chin. Yummy, yummy chin chin. Soft and cakey is ready. Ooh. This is the one Emma fried. Look at that. The tiny, the big, the medium, and it's so good. I hope you enjoyed making this chin chin with me. Thank you so much, my darlings. Bye.